then I'm moving on down from the right to left. So bite the mat, prepare to fight the death.
Started realizing that I could put words together, that I was actually semi-good at it. And then maybe when I hit about 17, I started realizing that like a lot of the that I was writing was better than half of the rappers that were out, like lyrically, like. So then I hooked up with these guys, the Bass Brothers, back in, I was about 17, and they had heard me rapping over the radio. There used to be this radio station I used to go to every Friday night called, it was like an open mic thing where you'd go up there and you play your demos. Mark Bass, he heard me, or I guess coming home in his car or something, and called up the radio station and was like, who is that? And he was talking to us over the air, and he was like, why don't you guys come by? I'm a record producer, da-da-da-da, come by, check it out. So we ended up hooking up with the Bass Brothers, and they had a connection at Elektra Records. So we got in there and we cut some songs better than demo songs. They were, you know, real, actual studio recordings. Well, what happened was Elektra turned us down. Me and Mark, we kind of went our separate ways. We still kept in touch a little bit, but we didn't really work together. You know, the project kind of fell through, so I was doing he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. And then a few years later, 3-4 years later, I started making a name for myself in Detroit, just at clubs and whatnot, just rapping and, you know, at open mics and freestyling and battles, competitions and things like that. And Mark heard about it. The Bass Brothers, they heard about, you know, what was going on again, and they decided to give it another shot. So we went with it, and we recorded the album Infinite.
Hey yo, my pen and paper cause a chain reaction to get your brain relaxing. A zaniac and maniac in action, a brainiac in fact, son. You mainly lack attraction. You look insanely whack when just a fraction of my tracks run. I'm infinite. You heard of hell while I was sent from it. I went to it serving a sentence for murdering instruments. Now I'm trying to repent from it. But when I hear the beat, I'm sent to the
There was maybe 500 copies of the album pressed up, and we just pressed them up locally to see if we could sell them. And it ended up not selling. I reached a point when my daughter was born where I didn't give a anymore. I didn't care. I just was like, I was fed up with so much shit. I knew I had a baby on the way that I, you know, before she was born and once she was born, I couldn't afford to buy her diapers. I couldn't afford to do anything. I lost my job. I was working different jobs, temporary service, all kinds of jobs just to try to make ends meet. Didn't have anything, you know, got evicted from the house I was staying at and really reached a point where I just hit rock bottom, so I stopped giving them.
So when you see me on your block for 2 blocks, screaming fuck the world like Tupac, I just don't give a fuck. Talking that shit behind my back, dirty back and telling your boys that
We recorded the Slim Shady EP, and as soon as we recorded that, I was doing shows, getting little gigs around Detroit, in the Detroit area, little club gigs and things like that, and everything just started picking up, like, you know, the tape started selling, there was a buzz. I would walk in the clubs, people would automatically know who I was. I started making like a pretty big name for myself, like locally. We went out to LA and we started putting it in the stores, and I had been out there a few months before and took second place in a rap competition called the Rap Olympics. And I had gave my tape to this kid named Dean Geislinger, real young kid at the time. He was like 18. I gave it to him and I was pissed because I lost the battle. I took second place in the battle and I really thought I should have took first. So he wanted a tape from me, so I kind of gave him a copy of the Slim Shady EP thinking, yeah, whatever, you know, take the tape, I don't care who you are. I'd been around by so many labels. And then come to find out, 2 months later, 3 months later, while we was out in LA, all of a sudden we get a call from Jimmy Iovine and Dre himself saying, we want to meet with you, we like your tape. So I guess that's how it went down. Then I met him like 2 days later. I met with him at the Interscope offices, and That's when I realized, like, this was actually happening.